Putin, my teacher Buzanko, he said it's not sensible to parallel them to. I don't know why he said that, but there is a lot of parallels. Hitler was so good for his country. He came after like 15 years after World War One. You know, at Versailles in Paris, they did that treaty, peace treaty, and they humiliated Germany, and Germany like literally collapsed.
You know that treaty was not even supposed to happen because
Hoover. It was Hoover, President Hoover. No, who?
Wilson.
Oh yeah, Wilson. He insisted on it.
He insisted not to have that.
No, he insisted on it. He had a whole list of points.
Yeah,
he wanted
his
the
points.
14 points.
But they had something else
They
completely.
ignored the 14 points and they Kennedy so much. Like, I'm just curious.
How would I explain it? He was a genuinely good guy. Like, in his personal life, he might have like whatever, but he cared about the poor. He cared about students, kids, children. He was a war hero, so he knew what war was.
War hero?
Yeah, he participated in World War II. His ship got sunk. He was in the Navy. His ship got sunk by the Japanese. He swam back to the shore, an island, but carrying his people on his back, like with the stripe and everything. He swam back carrying them to the island. There's a whole coconut shell. He wrote a message on there. It was like JFK, 1940 something, got defeated or something. Like he wrote a message. He sent it. They came rescued them, and he got a Purple Heart for that.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's why he hated war. Like he never wanted to go into war, and
that makes sense.
That's what I'm saying. During his time, it was like Putin, but it was Khrushchev who invaded Cuba. If Kennedy was like Biden, and he was like all high and mighty, and he was like, oh, you can't do that to us. We're United States. Nuclear war would have happened. Like everyone would be shooting each other. But he was calm. He would not act.
They're so scared.
He was scared, but he cared. Like he was scared for the world. Like he was scared for the people. He was like, we do not need war. This will be the end of us. Like nuclear war is not okay. Do you know about the guy who carries a suitcase behind the president? Wherever the United States president goes, he's next to him. Did you know about that guy?
No.
There's a guy with a suitcase following him everywhere, in his house, in his wherever. If anything happens, he can just turn to him because he has the codes in there. It's not just a button. You have to type in some codes and the passwords. Huh?
Fingerprints and stuff?
Passwords, passcodes, like in a suitcase. And this suitcase is given from president to the president. So on inauguration day, he was with Trump, and then he went along with Biden after the swearing in. And
That sounds like Marvel.
so it sounds like what?
You know, Marvel?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, like what?
Avengers?
Captain America, Winter Soldier. Whenever like
Oh
they
yeah.
had the suitcase and like they had to put DNA stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah, they were inspired.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
Obviously. But yeah, it's not that easy. No. You can't just press the button. What led up to World War II? After World War One, the treaty in Paris, they humiliated Germany, and that's how Hitler came into power. I don't know how he did it, but Germany was finished financially, socially. In about 20 years, he brought it back up and he made it strong enough to go against the whole, Europe, Russia, United States.
He did just how America got into World War One too.
Yeah.
Military stuff.
Yeah,
That's how he built the economy up.
Also,
but it's Putin too.
yeah. So I would say one thing though is it's interesting how like if you look at Germany, I feel like sometimes humiliation can lead to people acting overtly aggressive, right? So I think the reason why Hitler was able to get so much power is because like a lot of the people thought that the treaties that were made like completely went against like Germany itself, right? And so I think that's how he kind of secured his base by saying that.
People ignored Germany. They were not paying attention what they were doing, so they turned their back on the enemy. I think that's the best thing you can do to your enemy. Like that it benefited Germany so much. No one knew what they were doing, what they were building, because they were like, okay, Germany is finished. Just like Russia, after the Soviet Union fell, Putin came into power, and in like 20 years, he made Russia a world power. Like he worked hard.
I mean, it's not world power. It's not like China. China surpassed Russia.
Russia is strong. Economically, I don't know what people are going through right now, but much better than how it was doing. It was gone. You know, economically.
Yeah, I
financially.
think Russia went from their Soviet times. It went from up to down to all the way up back again for Putin. But now I think it's like kind of
Right now,
on the down.
We don't know what's.
yeah. Because I know Russian economy wise, there's actually interestingly enough, there's actually more rubles outside of Russia than there are inside of Russian banks. So generally, from an economic standpoint, that basically means like a country is doing very bad, like in terms of like economics, because that means more people are trying like have money outside of Russia than they have inside, right? And that's Russian currency
So
itself.
like everyone else has their money.
Yeah, exactly. Either that, or it could mean the oligarchs from Russia. You know the oligarchs,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
they are keeping most of their money outside of Russia. That's a huge signal that Russia might collapse.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why they're kind of moving their cash flow outside of like kind of Russia.
Italy and like all the other.
Yeah, Swiss bank,
banks,
I think,
They're
yeah.
actually keeping them hostage, keeping their money.
Yeah.
Their,
The funny thing is that how everyone keeps talking bad about the Turkish economy at the moment.
oh,
Russia's
yeah.
so much worse because
Yeah,
one
I mean,
lira,
Russia's its whole,
one Turkish lira,
Yeah.
$1
that's why I wanted to go to
is
Russia.
14.
I was gonna go.
It's like
Rubles?
14
14 some
lira.
0.14.
No, like $1
Oh.
is 14
Yeah.
liras,
Yeah.
and Russia $1 is 100 and something.
Really?
Oh.
It's even worse.
I wanted to go. I wanted to go have a nice trip, but.
Dude, that is worse than okay. So that is worse than a lot of countries that are like considered third world, like in terms of economics. Because I know like so, Bangladesh it's $88 taka per dollar, but in Russia it's 100. That's insane.
Is it because military stuff, security?
It's because
they
of the
put
war right
too
now.
much-
So, because of the war, everything's just inflating.
Yeah, but what
Yeah.
about like before? Was it the same?
I would say it might. It honestly might be just because I feel like you can actually look it up. Oh, thank goodness you have a laptop in front of you. So like we can fact check in real time. So I think the thing with Russia is, yeah, it's been pretty bad. Yeah, it's actually been pretty bad.
So World War II.
Wait.
Russia was still not in the.
Do U.S. dollars too? Yeah. Do
Oh
mine.
wow.
It's at
100
130 right now. Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, so after World War I, Germany was humiliated. So was
Yeah.
Russia. Oh my God, I'm drawing. Right now, I'm drawing Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it?
Oh, which one? The draw parallels between the two.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm pretty much staying here till like 11. So if you want, I would really like to hear your story though. Like if you have to head out like soon, so like we could hear you and then I can like chime in a little bit.
I'm going right now.
All right, let's get it.
Russia was humiliated after Soviet Union, so both Hitler came into power and worked hard for the country. They were both good for their countries. We can't say Putin was not good for his country. He worked hard because he brought Russia to today from ashes of Soviet Union.
That is true.
Anyways,
I'll
and
give
then
him
Hitler invaded Sudetenland in Europe, something like that.
Yeah.
He took it back from French territory. No one said anything. France didn't say anything. United Kingdom didn't say anything. They all looked the other way. Just like Russia invaded in 2014.
Crimea, I think. Yeah.
No one said anything.
You know, if the French and British attacked Germany then, World War II would
it's
never have
like
happened.
They should have stopped Hitler at Munich.
Oh, that's Munich?
Somewhere there, but no, everyone looked the other way. What happened? Hitler, he was like, okay, they're not saying anything, so he went on to Czech. Yeah.
Czech Republic, yeah.
I don't like saying the whole name.
Yeah.
So what did Russia do? They were like, okay, no one is saying anything, so they went into Syria
And Georgia.
yeah,
And
Middle East, and no one said anything again. But what happened at this time during World War II, back in that time, 40s, 30s, was that United Kingdom, France, and all of them, they went to Poland and they were like, okay, Hitler's gonna come for you next, and when he does, we're gonna support you and we're gonna attack him. What did the United States do? Just a couple months ago, he was like,
Same thing.
He
It was
went
the
to
same
Ukraine.
thing.
He was like, Russia's gonna come for you next. It's okay. We're gonna support you. We're gonna back you up. Russia went into Ukraine.
yeah, I noticed that. That was like a huge parallel.
Yeah, that's why you stopped them at the beginning.
Honestly,
only if Churchill was alive.
But if you stop a war before it starts, a lot of people will get hurt.
before it starts, or
So yeah, I think preemptive strikes do end up having casual like
I
high
was just quoting
casualties.
Captain America. That's
But huh?
I was
Oh,
quoting
you're
that.
quoting Captain America. Oh, I mean, he's right. Okay, but I guess I don't know. I don't know how I feel about like stuff. How do you think? How do you suggest like the U.S. should have reacted if we could, let's say, go back in time, and like see the whole situation approach?
was just going to have to shut up about it. Like it was not its place. It was not Biden's place to say anything to Ukraine. Like whisper
Yeah.
anything into Ukraine's ear against Russia.
Yeah.
That's how World War One started.
Yes, one. I had two questions before I listened to all the podcasts before
Yeah.
my history teachers. I had two questions. If was it best of NATO to not accept Ukraine or Georgia earlier?
Hmm.
For that, would it be a threat to Russia? And with the slightest, inconvenience, the whole NATO would have to go to war, because Ukraine would be part of NATO. So was it better that it was not part of it, or if NATO had at least included Ukraine in it, would Russia dare to go against Ukraine? Would he dare to invade?
I think they should have allowed them in.
Included them.
Not the NATO, because the NATO thing's kind of dumb, but the EU.
EU.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, EU would have been fine, but NATO is against communism and against Soviet Union. It was built against.
NATO doesn't
Yeah.
have any personality.
Yeah,
So.
it was based against being the good guy against.
Yeah. But then again, I think if Ukraine were to be incorporated into NATO first, I think Russia would have acted a lot more aggressively, just because I feel like NATO's whole mission is to make sure to be a buffer against communism, right? And not just communism. I feel like so it was more specifically against Soviet Union. So, and I think the way Putin sees geopolitics is that he kind of considers the Eastern Bloc countries to be still part of Europe, right? Like even when his address to Ukraine before the quote unquote invasion, he said like they are not our brothers, they are us, right? I think something along those lines. Yeah, where he said like they are basically part of us, right? And so
they're part of us.
yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, I guess that's the thing is like, so if there was NATO there, I think Russia would act a lot more aggressively. I think there has been talks with Ukraine and NATO, or at least, Ukraine joining NATO specifically.
They were this close.
Have been.
They have been, right? Yeah, I think that might have.
Today's war is something that has been building up since 2014.
They were going to actually join, but then whenever the 2014 war happened,
and why did that war happen?
then NATO was like, yeah, we don't want you. You're just going to be trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Anyways, back into World War II, around that time, United States was, as I said, putting fear into people about Soviet Union. They were like, it's the worst thing in the world. It's the evil thing in the world. Wherever it is, it doesn't have to be near Cuba, like near us. It doesn't have to be in Europe. Wherever it is, like in Vietnam, wherever, we have to go stop it. Or like, but they portrayed the Soviet Union as this evil bad guy,
strong
enemy. But Soviet Union was not even that strong.
It
United States had
Damn,
way
roasted.
more.
It was at the time.
Had way more
Yeah.
missiles. Had way more. It was way stronger than the Soviet Union. Cold War, United States was ahead, but they had to point at someone as the bad guy. Just as you said, Russia is not doing good economically. Anyways, they weren't even that strong, but they were still portrayed as the.
Honestly,
big
I guess
evil.
Russia now is pretty much the sick man of Europe, quote unquote.
It is.
Yeah.
That parallel with Hitler too. Like
Yeah.
Hitler became mad with power.
Yeah.
The same thing happened to.
Yeah.
Hitler.
No, because I remember like the Ottomans used to be called the sick man. Was it Ottomans or
Yep.
used to be called
Abdülhamit.
after? Yeah.
Which he had.
Honestly, yeah, we could get into Ottoman politics too. Honestly, yeah.
I don't think you guys would want.
I like to hear your statements, bro. We have another history book. I called him. The thing with Mesopotamian history, I feel like the one thing that's interesting is, I would say how their religion is sort of structured. In that, and I think this is similar to a lot of Middle Eastern religions in that, a lot of it comes, and I guess it's the same thing with a lot of religions. By Middle Eastern religion, by the way, I'm not talking about like Islam or Judaism, or maybe Judaism to a certain
Are
extent.
you talking
right?
like
Not Christianity.
Al-Azza?
No, I'm
Stuff
talking
like that?
about like what do you mean? Oh, those stuff. So I'm not too sure about them. I'm talking more about like
Mesopotamian.
yeah,
like-
Mesopotamian, a
Egyptian?
little bit of Egyptian, but also like Hebrew, ancient Israelite religion, right? Like the
That's
one
just
during the
Islam.
temple time. No, like I guess it is, but What I'm saying is
No,
like
I'm
how
talking
it's
about, like, the
portrayed
golden-
historically.
Are you talking about like the golden cow type stuff?
Yeah, those kind type of stuff. Yeah. So I think like a lot of them is actually, interestingly enough, very fear based, especially in Mesopotamia, just because like if you think about the region, it's sandwiched between two big rivers, right? The Tigris and the Euphrates. So I feel like a lot of the floodings and stuff from there essentially led to most people thinking of their quote unquote gods, like especially like gods like Enlil or even Marduk, to be or like their quote unquote gods, right? To be more or less like
Angry.
very angry with them, and the thing is they have to appease them in a certain way, right? And so that's why they would do like a lot of sacrifices.
Kind of like the
They
Aztecs.
would like in a sense I would say that is a reoccurring theme in a lot of ancient history.
And a precursor to the Majus as well.
Yeah,
What's a
by
Majus?
Majus is like a
Zoroastrian.
Zoroastrian, right?
Parsis.
I would say so, yeah. So you can see elements in the Zoroastrian religion because Zoroastrianism believes in Zoroastrianism is an interesting religion where it's like kind of dualistic, right? So there's Ahura Mazda, which is like the good god, and then Angra Mani, which is
yeah.
kind of like the bad god, right? And so then they're like competing with each other. And the thing is, it's a war between good and evil.
That's actually one of the closest religions to monotheism.
To monotheism, yeah. So I think it is. A lot of people think of it as so. Obviously, there's monotheistic elements in different religions,
But that's the closest one.
but that is the closest one that has maintained sort of a pseudo monotheistic. I would call it honestly more of a monolateralism or henotheism. Where let's call it more of henotheism. Henotheism basically like
Multiple
they
gods.
they
in
believe
one.
that there are many gods, but they only worship one god.
Think of it like Hinduism.
But that was the Mushrikun of Makkah as well.
Yeah, exactly. They would
Really?
they would
So
elevate.
they
yeah.
believed the Rabb was Allah, yeah? But they would sacrifice things to their idols because they believed that they would intercess with them before Allah.
Kind of like the
A lot and
saints.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Saints.
kind of like that, yeah. Like Allat, you know, one of the idols, Allat. Allat was a man. When people came for Hajj, he would give them like food and stuff and care for them.
He was a person?
He was a person, yeah. Well, there's a difference of opinion. Ibn Abbas believed he was a person.
Yeah.
And when he died on their grave, essentially, they started going to him and then asking him because he cared for people so much. They were like, "You're close to Allah, so ask Allah for us." And that's how
You
it
know,
started.
Oh,
That's
mythology
exactly
started.
how the Prophet Noah, that's how their paganism started.
Yeah.
From that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, but how shaitan can take one thing to another.
You know, that might explain why Zoroastrianism is so close to monotheism, because it could have like changed the origin.
Yeah.
It's like there's
I
God, which is
complete-
evil, right?
Actually,
and they
yeah.
change it and make it into a god.
I would love to address this. So, if you read a lot of the, actually, if you just read the Darius inscriptions, he does not mention anything about Angra Manu. He only mentions Ahura Mazda gave me this kingdom. Ahura Mazda did this for me. He did
good
this.
one?
Yeah, Ahura Mazda is the good one, right? So like Ahura Mazda literally means the Lord Most High. That's literally what it means. Yeah, Ahura Mazda, right? So interestingly, I feel like a lot of people don't know what the religion of the first few of the Achaemenid kings were. But they say it is Zoroastrianism just because they mention Ahura Mazda. But scholars now these days agree that they might have not been quote-unquote Majus or Zoroastrians, but they might actually be something that is different. It's like another Persian religion, but it's not Zoroastrianism. Because Zoroastrianism, as of now, they do these things with fire. If you look at like the Parsis in India, they're like the last few remaining
Or the
Zoroastrians.
eternal fire.
Yeah,
and
the
all that
eternal
stuff.
fire. Their temples feature fire. I think fire is a very big theme in their religion.
Majus means fire worshipper. And
Oh, really?
realistically, yeah.
And you
Yeah,
know, the Sahaba Salman al-Farsi,
Yeah.
his dad was the guy that kept the eternal fire.
Yeah, Salman al-Farsi. Oh, because he's al-Farsi. Yeah. The Persian.
Yeah. You know the story of Salman al-Farsi?
Huh?
You know his story?
No, I actually don't know. I mean, I think I've heard. No, maybe I might be wrong, but was he like someone big in the Zoroastrian religion or no? Not really.
Yeah, his dad was the one that maintained the fire, the eternal fire.
I assume that's a pretty important.
So-
point.
And
Yeah,
he was
it's
teaching his son to do it. He loved his son.
Yeah.
So he told his son, you have to do it. And when the
Oh,
Christians came and he was interested in Christianity because it's similar,
Yeah.
the dad was so scared he locked him up, like house arrest. Until he's like,
Mashallah.
I really want to learn more. And he became Christian and escaped from his dad. Then,
Yeah, go for it.
and this was Christianity, like, this is like the original
The
Christianity.
religion of race.
Yeah.
Sure, there were some bad people, but the first priest he went to was bad. He hoarded all the money. Kind of like what the indulgences of the Catholics.
Oh yeah, selling.
The second one actually followed the original Christianity.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure if he's.
No. After that, when he died, there was no more good Christians.
No, there was a third one as well. When
There's
he
a third
died,
one.
he said that I only know one other person who's on the straight path. He said go to him. And when he died, he said I only know one other person. He said I know nobody on the path left.
We're just waiting for the new prophet.
We're waiting for the new prophet. So he said go to the land. He gave some characteristics of where he would be. He said he'll be in a land of dates. He said he'll be in a desert climate, and he said that he'll have a seal on his back.
Oh yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
basically like a mole on his back.
A very like colorful kind of thing though, and it had, like
It's not disgusting.
it's not disgusting. Yeah, exactly. Moles are kind of disgusting. I don't know the exact.
It's like a birthmark almost.
Yeah, exactly. So Salman al-Farisi went to,
Mecca, Medina.
no, he didn't go to Medina first. He went to one of the Jewish cities.
Medina's.
Medina.
No, he went to another city, and then he was enslaved.
He went to
He went to another city.
in the Byzantines.
Right.
Oh, 'cause
he
they have a
went
lot
with
of-
some merchants, and he asked
Yes.
them to take him down there, and they enslaved him and took him to Medina.
Yes, I remember
So
that.
he was headed to. I think he was headed to Khaybar, right?
Where's
Khaybar is
that?
another
Where's
city,
another city?
where the Jews were living. He was going to Khaybar. Those merchants that enslaved him took him to Medina, subhanAllah, because he would have ended up in Khaybar, but
And then
he
he
took him to
stayed.
Medina.
And then he stayed under a Jew who treated him horribly for many years. And then one day he saw Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then whatever he was like, look at him. He looked like the descriptions. So he was like walking behind him. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam obviously saw that he was trying to look at his birthmark. So he like lowered his shirt a bit. Whenever Salman al-Farisi saw it, he ran, hugged him, and then he became Muslim.
Oh, mashallah.
He's also the person that gave the idea of building the trench in the Battle
because
of
the
the Trench.
trench is a Persian.
Khaybar. He's
The,
one of
Oh,
Khandak.
Khandak. Yeah.
Because the trench is a Persian invention.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Arabs
trench
did not
warfare,
know
they
that.
did invent a lot of stuff.
And
yeah.
and then, but he
Military.
was still a slave. So the Muslims wanted to free him. So
Yeah.
the slave owner said, "I'll free him for 100 date palms fully grown." So the Muslims planted all the 100 date palms. The Prophet ﷺ planted, I don't know how many he planted, but he planted some himself with his own hands, ﷺ. And then when they grew, they gave it all in ransom and he became free.
Oh, mashallah, that's amazing. Yeah.
So what were you talking about?
He lived a very long time.
We're talking about Mesopotamia. Yeah, that's just keep going. Yeah,
It's
that's how
Mesopotamia,
podcast is.
so-
Yeah.
Part, yeah.
Yeah, let's get it, bro. Yeah, I mean, yeah, going back to it,
Okay,
man, mashallah, how things
So
change. Yeah.
I'm gonna change the subject a bit.
Yeah.
Do you think Julius Caesar was a good leader?
I don't know enough.
Yeah, I don't think I know enough, but I did know he fought against Pompey. I think that's something a lot of people know. Historically, I'm not too sure because, and I think a lot of the things in his biography might actually be like colorful just after his death, though. Like, because Julius Caesar was like monumentalized, especially during Augustus's reign, right? And so I don't know too much about what is true and what's not true, but I don't know. What's your take on it? I mean, it's up to you.
So, he purposely killed a lot of people. Like he tricked people. Like the
Oh.
Gauls,
Yeah.
they he just made a war so he can be more famous.
Yeah.
So he attacked the Gauls and said, "Look, they're under us now, so you should just surrender." They're like,
Yeah.
"No." So he's like, "Fine, okay."
Who's under us?
This one tribe that's a Gaul.
Yeah. Oh, so
And
what
what-
he did was he conquered a tribe amongst the Gaul people, and he told the entirety of the Gauls that, look, they're under us, so you should all be under us too.
And
Okay.
they're being treated
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah. That sounds, you know who that sounds like? Sounds like Putin. With Crimea,
Dude,
Ukraine. I don't know, I'm seeing some parallels
So then,
here.
eventually,
history repeats itself. So.
Yeah, it's
and
interesting.
some of
yeah,
them
I do
actually
think
believed
so,
that, and they surrendered. And turns out he was a liar. And the people of Britain as well tried to help. So whenever
There were Germans at that time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Germanic, yeah.
no, they're Celtic.
They're like a Germanic
Yeah,
tribe.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So whenever Caesar conquered all of the Gauls, then he's like, "Okay, you Britons, I'm gonna get my revenge," and start attacking them.
You damn British people. Yeah, I mean, interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man.
And then
I think a lot of people did do what
Oh.
you're telling me.
and the
historically,
Celts,
yeah.
they originated from modern day Turkey.
Yeah.
They said so.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. You can see over there.
I mean, it's like a little bit of present.
No,
but
but
most of them. Oh, maybe they
they
migrated.
migrated.
Yeah.
No, because in the Celtic, not Celtic, the Scottish king, he
Yeah.
said my origins came from this, and he's told the whole story. We're from like northern Syria, southern Turkey, and we moved all the way. We stayed in Anatolia for a little bit. We moved around Greece, over Italy. We stayed around France, and we moved to England.
Yeah.
And modern day archaeology and DNA scans show the exact same story.
Oh,
So
really?
that's how they actually migrated.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not know that. That is interesting. Yeah.
So that's probably how I got my red hair.
Maybe, yeah. Where are you partly? Oh, okay, yeah. I see what you mean.
I mean,
But honestly, bro,
The
Palestinians are
genes for
just-
red hair actually came from India originally. Yeah.
there's no red hair
no-
Indians.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Indians
red-haired
have a lot of
Indians. Yeah,
redheads in India, bro.
the interesting thing about India is a lot of people, when they think of an Indian, they're probably thinking of someone who makes up maybe around at most 50% of the Indian population. The rest 50% people don't look at.
Dude, I'm looking at you too.
No, see, the North Indians are very genetically different from the South Indians.
Yeah.
Like, South Indians are
I mean,
extreme.
obviously.
So if you hold on, let me pull out some maps.
It's like they were different kingdoms before, but
Exactly. Like South India, they're very dark skinned. North India had a lot more Muslims as well. Like, a lot of the North Indians are part Persian.
like I saw, I knew a guy.
Oh,
from
they're
high school,
Indo-Aryan.
I knew a guy from high school. He was like North Indian, and he looked Pakistani because like he was so white.
Yeah.
And then I know another guy who was like from the south, most tip of India, and he was like, he looked completely
Alright.
black.
Yeah.
So these
They're
are
even
just
darker
two
than black people.
of the more
Like,
prominent
yeah.
groups of Indians, right? Essentially. But another thing about Indians is it also extends beyond looks. The thing with Indians is you will often see Indians with like blue eyes. You often see Indians with even blonde hair, right?
I mean, that's probably
thing
because
is-
the Brits came.
Huh?
The Brits.
No.
They didn't
Uh,
intermarry.
It's interesting. Yeah, yeah.
They
The thing with the Brits
It was
is
very uncommon though.
no, it was very uncommon. So the reason why most of the people. Okay, so if you look at actually, hold on. All right. So these people did not marry the Brits. Okay, these people they did not marry the Brits. Like I'm just showing them like
That looks like a
Those are
Afghans.
Afghans.
Yeah, they're
exactly,
Afghans.
exactly. So these are Pathans. These are You're like half Pathan, right?
1/4. Yeah.
1/4. Okay, yeah. So the thing is these group of people were indigenous to that specific land for like a long time. Now the thing with India that's interesting is I think genetic diversity in India is actually really like a lot.
It's high.
Yeah, it's very high in genetic diversity.
That's what they-
Genetic, cultural, and lingual diversity.
Yeah,
That's why they
it's-
call it a subcontinent, because it's so diverse.
Yeah.
No, they call it subcontinent because it includes India, Pakistan, Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
No,
and a lot of
it's
other
because
places.
it's so diverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. That too, and I'll also say it might also be called a subcontinent because India, the landmass originally isn't an Asian
That's
landmass.
true, that's true.
It came from I think modern day Africa,
Mhm.
and then they collided. That's why you have the Himalayan ranges and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting to look at Indian history too. I mean, I think the interesting thing about India is I think India has had a history, and I know this is not a controversial statement. India has had a history of foreign rule for the longest time, whether it be the Mughals, whether it be the Brits,
Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great, and parts of India.
Muslims.
Yeah, the Mughals, the Muslims, and other
No,
Muslim
Mughals,
dynasties.
bro.
The,
Mughals
yeah,
ruled
yeah.
over Sindh as well.
Yeah. That's why I said that is interesting. And
But actually, the Indians liked the Muslims because it finally got them an excuse to exit the caste system. Because
Yeah.
everyone hated the caste system. No one liked.
Not the higher
Oh, okay.
caste.
Of course, the higher guys loved it, but the lower guys, they're like, finally something to get us outside.
I would kind of disagree with that, and I actually like disagreements because that's how it keeps
That's
the
how
podcast going.
I learned it from my
So-
sociology.
So your sociologist might your sociologist might actually like not know, or maybe he probably studied some Orientalist textbook that has stated it, but
that was a textbook.
yeah, but if it's an Orientalist textbook, it's from a Western perspective of
Oh.
a foreign culture, right? So I very much like it can be very skewed. It's like saying stuff like the Mohammedans worship Muhammad.
Who are they?
Muslims.
They call Muslims.
They call Muslims Mohammedans, right? And so they say they worship Muhammad. That's how a lot of the European texts would describe Muslims.
No, they call us people who
Worship
no
of
no
black-
worship a black box. That's
And,
They're
No. This is what they say. We are
Yeah.
people
So
that
this
worship,
term.
wait. They say that we worship a moon god that lives in a box in the middle of the desert.
Exactly. And they use terms like Mohammedan to say
some of them
that.
even
Yeah.
thought we worship Muhammad sallallahu.
Yeah, a lot of them thought we worship Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or we worship like a stone statue. We were like an idol worshipping group, right? But that's the thing with a lot of these historians is they generally have a very skewed opinion on foreign things. It is interesting, and I am Muslim myself, but I am willing to admit that the Muslims have swung themselves into power in India through genocide. That is just historically accurate, right?
I don't
The thing
think
is,
so. That-
the thing is, yes.
Which kingdom?
So whether it be the Mughals, whether it be Ikhtiaruddin Muhammad bin Bakhtiar Khilji, whether it be anyone really,
The New
if you
Delhi?
have people, Ikhtiaruddin Muhammad bin Bakhtiar Khilji was in modern day Bangladesh. They
I
took
was
it.
talking about the New Delhi.
Yeah, the Delhi Sultanate too. So I mean, obviously the Delhi Sultanate, right? The thing is Muslims in India, whether they be foreign Muslims or local Muslims, and the Hindus of India have been bickering for a while, right? And so the division between Pakistan and India, right, and then later on Bangladesh, it didn't just happen because the Hindus were happy with them, and it didn't happen just because the British wanted it to happen. It's because there was already a cultural movement for secession. The Muslim League, I think Awami Muslim League in Pakistan, that was there. They set the precedence because they knew that historically, if they were to be under the Indians, they would be oppressed. And the Indians, they knew it and they wanted to because they wanted revenge in a certain sense. Because the thing with interesting thing about Indian history is, as I said, they've been ruled by foreign dynasties for so long, and a lot of those foreign dynasties were not nice to them. And they were not nice
I
to...
wouldn't call it genocide though, because the Hindus were a savage people. Right?
No,
we invaded them and we killed them. for
That's
sure.
a hot take.
That's-
Savage.
well,
I
you can't say savage.
They weren't
Some-
savage,
some of
bro.
them,
Yeah,
some of
that's a
them.
very hot
because
take.
they're the ones that also created zero.
Yeah,
So
the
they
thing
were-
is, no, and not just zero.
I'm saying
Interesting
some
enough,
of
a
them.
lot of
And
these,
savage in
a
the sense
lot
they
of the,
worship
yeah, a
is
lot of
actually
them are
savage.
actually, a lot of the mathematicians whom the Persians learned from were Indians. So
By
the thing
savage, I mean in their dress, in the way that they worshipped idols. That's what I mean by savage. Not in their scientific.
But
everything is
then again, you're playing sort of and being an Orientalist yourself, but from a different perspective. Like you're looking at them and their culture as something that is savage.
Okay,
Like people
well-
can look at Islamic culture and then say, "Oh, we do Qurbani, right? Like we like Qurban, like Eid al-Adha."
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
Qurban then?
No, like
Sacrifice.
sacrificing a goat, for example,
Oh,
or like
it's
sacrificing a
Urdu
sheep, for
word.
example.
Urdu word for
Oh,
the dibah.
really?
The
Oh,
Urdu word for
the
dibah is Qurban.
Dabah, yeah,
Okay.
okay, dabah, yeah, I guess.
He's gonna be my translator now.
Yeah, oh, yeah, mashallah.
But
Yeah.
technically, they can't say that because what the Christians do, they believe in the blood sacrifice. too.
But that is the thing. That is the interesting thing about world
Okay,
history is that I feel like a
misspoke.
lot of
I did
people.
not mean
Oh
savage.
no! We 100%. No, I feel you.
I meant that they were mushrikun. That's
Yeah,
what I
what
meant.
I
Okay.
mean, but
So,
this thing
you
is,
know,
yeah.
you know, so when the Hindus used to raid the Afghans and the Afghans used to raid the Hindus, they always
Yeah.
had this fighting.
Exactly.
So
So,
the-
how can you say they wanted a peaceful coalition?
No,
That's my
so
thing.
a lot of the Hindus that became Muslim, they became because of the caste system. But a lot of them,
Yeah.
even the lower caste, firmly believed that they are doing the right thing by staying in their lower caste.
Exactly.
They believed that,
Exactly.
and they worship their idols.
I agree
You know the
with.
Hindu Kush mountains.
That I agree with.
Hmm?
The
You know
Hindu Kush
the Hindu
mountains.
Kush mountains in Afghanistan. You know why they're called Hindu Kush? Because the Afghans used to fight the Hindus there all the time. They would raid back and forth in those mountains. The Afghans knew the mountains really well, so they would always kill the Hindus there. Hindu Kush means Hindu slaughter.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Bro, for real? I did not know that.
Yeah. Because
Wow.
that was like the
I mean-
Afghan terrain, and even now, I mean,
Yeah.
you saw like the recent Afghan war. They won because of those mountains. They know those mountains.
I mean, though, low-key, I mean, for me personally, I would say, though, that's an interesting thing about, like... But then again, like, that kind of proves my point, right? Like, I don't think the Indians welcomed Muslims in that way, like you're
100%,
saying.
100%.
Because I feel like your professor might have misunderstood that just because, like... The thing is... they were in a caste system, but their caste system is similar. Think of it in this way, right? You know how a lot of the people in France say Muslim women should not wear hijab because it's an oppressive symbol? that is the exact same parallels. So the people who believe that there are parts of Varna, right? Like the whole caste system body, right? The head, the arms and the shoulders and the muscles, the legs and the feet, right? Yeah, like I said, for them, they very much believed it, I think, in that sense. So therefore, like, yeah. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. I do think a lot of historians generally look at a lot of regions in a very interesting way. Even a lot of Muslim historians, too. Even Hindu historians.
You could go back to the statement that you never finished. Whenever you
You're finished. What? Wait, what?
Whenever you were talking about how, what was it?
Mesopotamian religions are more fear-based?
No, not that. A little bit afterwards. Zoroastrianism, how it's like.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, they are monolateralist as a religion, but there's definitely elements of paganism in them, I would agree. But, I mean, things do change. That's the thing with it. It's like a religion doesn't just stay the way it is. It's very few religions have existed. Huh?
Islam.
It's the only...
Because it's the only.
It's the only religion that has...
That
yeah.
reminds me. So, you know, one of the reasons that a lot of Hindus became Muslim in the first place?
Yeah.
It's because a lot of so not in the initial stage, but in the later stages, like 1500, 1600s, when Sufism was spread a lot, because like the saint worship was so similar to their own thing, they accepted that version of Islam. And then a lot of those people, after reading the Quran and everything, they became true Sunni Muslims. But a lot of, like, in India, Sufism is probably spread the most percentage-wise out of any country, I would argue.
Yeah, I agree.
Except Turkey.
Oh, maybe.
It'd be close.
Because Turkey,
Yeah.
a lot...
Percentage-wise, yeah. Number-wise, I think India has a lot more.
Yeah.
Just because India has so many people,
That's
you
true.
know what I mean? Yeah. But percentage-wise, because in Turkey, did you ever see those like amazing videos of like people like twirling
The dervishes.
around and, the dervishes, yeah, they're like
Spinning people.
spinning
Yeah.
people, yeah. Charles' opinions on like the whole Sunni Shia thing that's going on in world politics, right? Like Iran, Saudi Arabia, and all this stuff.
Okay,
that's
so the
like
Sunni
going on
Shia
right now.
thing is purely just political, kind of like the Orthodox people. Because Orthodoxy, Greek Orthodoxy and Russian Orthodoxy, they're clashing right now. Because of the Ukraine
Well, I
issue.
wouldn't say that because
No,
they
no,
still
the-
believe in the same thing.
No,
Islam,
no, listen. So, they're the same thing, right? So,
Sunni and Shia, no.
no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Orthodoxy. But because of Greece allowing Ukraine to have their own Orthodox, Ukrainian Orthodoxy, Russia doesn't like that. So they're like, Greece, if you allow this, I'm going to leave and make my own Christianity. So that's what's happening.
That's very different. I don't know
No, and
politically
that's
whether
kind of
these-
happening right now.
whether these countries are taking advantage of that. But just theologically speaking, Sunnism and Shiaism are very different. They're almost, you could call them different religions, almost.
They are.
because one is monotheist. No, actually, one believes that God is perfect, and the other one believes that God makes mistakes.
Yeah.
So
And amongst
Wait,
What?
made mistake?
amongst the
they
Shi-
said that Allah made a mistake by accidentally choosing Prophet Muhammad instead of Ali.
Is that like a minority position though? or
No,
is
that's
that
the
it is.
majority
It's
position.
majority.
So there
That's why
are two groups of
Say
Shia.
Muhammad Sallallahu and then Ali afterwards because
Yeah.
they believe that Ali was the true prophet.
Oh,
There are
okay. I
two
don't
groups
know
of
about
Shia.
that.
One of them is concentrated in Iran, and now after the war, a lot of them are in Syria and Iraq and other places. And then the other group is concentrated in Yemen. As for the
Yemen?
Yemenis, there's
In Pakistan too, like these Smileys.
Yeah, those are the Irani type. So the Zaydis, those they have some bid'ah in them, and they believe that Ali should have been the Khalifa instead of Abu Bakr. But they don't believe any of this other stuff, right? And
So they still like Umar?
they still like Umar, they still like Abu Bakr,
And Aisha.
and they still like Aisha.
Wait, so what's the difference between
So
them and
those
Sunnis?
those people they even pray in the same masjid in Yemen and everything. They're still referred to as Ahlul Bid'ah because they have some bid'ah within them, and
Basically, like the
Some
Sufis. They're more like Sufis.
yeah, exactly. Now with the war in Yemen, some of them are becoming like Irani Shias.
Oh no.
So that's,
Like the Jafari, right? Because I know the Iranis are 12ers, right?
Yeah,
So
the
they
12ers,
believe in,
the
yeah.
12ers,
And then
yeah.
the
the
Ismailis.
12ers are the group that has those extreme opinions and
Yeah.
believe that some of their saints are better than the prophets and crazy stuff like that, man.
They have a
Yeah.
hierarchy as well.
Yeah.
And they have like a pope like dude.
Oh, Ayatollah.
Yeah.
The Khamenei? Yeah. I know there are different kinds of Ayatollah. Like there are
It's
lots of
basically
different
just
Ayatollahs.
I-
Catholicism.
Huh?
It's basic Muslim
Eyes of
Catholicism.
Shaitan.
Bro, Loki. There's like what Khomeini. I think there are two. One is
Khomeini?
Sistani and Khamenei. Khamenei. So Khamenei and Sistani are the current two,
Yeah.
but Khomeini used to be like a pretty big in Iran. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So you say, but so where do you stand in the whole conflict? Because I know it's interesting
that's a hard
how
question.
it's okay. So I guess I'm gonna start a little bit. So I guess I'll kind of start it off, and then I want to hear y'all's opinion. So, Shia Muslims make up about what, maybe tops
21%.
15, 20%,
20%.
maybe 20% tops, right?
20?
Yeah.
They're only like 5%.
No.
No.
In India and Iran, there are a lot. And
No,
Pakistan.
Like,
well, I'm talking about
in-
worldwide. They're
Okay.
20%.
What about the 20%? Okay, so let's say 20%,
No, you
right?
said 5%. I was saying.
Oh no, 5% is a bit too low of a number. I feel like they're 15 to 20%. I think that's a more understandable. But the thing is even though they're so small in number, they're still such. 24%, 24.9%.
No,
What is that?
that's
Oh, that's a
something else.
different one. Okay. Yeah. Go to just find the Muslim religion percentage Shia or Sunni or something like that. Yeah.
There are gonna be
Should
different
be.
estimates.
Okay,
obviously.
but I guess my point is kind of they're so small in number, but yet they're so they have so much grip on a lot of these countries. But I mean, they're so small in number, but yet they seem very they seem to be on a winning side of the war. To be honest, they seem to be on the winning side of
Who?
what's going on right now.
Shias?
Shias, yeah.
They,
In terms of Middle Eastern
in Syria,
in
they
Middle
won
Eastern
almost.
paragraph, and it's interesting because in Syria, the most people are Sunnis. The vast majority of people are
issue
Sunnis.
that
Yeah.
happened in Syria was that there were the Shia had only one or two factions.
Yeah,
right?
the
Main
Alawites
factions.
and there's
No,
No,
I
but they
mean
also have a whole bunch
fighting
of different-
factions.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the Sunnis had multiple different groups, right? You had the
Sunnis?
you had the Free Syrian Army. Then
Oh,
you had the
I
Turks.
thought you were
The
talking
Turks
about,
that
like-
were also fighting.
Why
Then-
did Turkey get in?
Then
That's
you
so
also had
interesting.
the Chechens that came in and the Uzbeks. Yeah. They also came in to fight.
You
And
know-
they all were kind of not in unison because they
They
all
should
had
have been.
different images of how they wanted the country to be. Because you have to remember, the Free Syrian Army was outside Damascus, and then at that time the people kind of disagreed about who was going to rule Syria at that time.
Wait, what is a mosque?
Damascus.
Damascus.
Oh, Damascus.
Yeah. So
Try to make everything English, please.
No. I like
No,
it because
for the audience.
Oh, for the audience, yeah.
not bad.
We love the audience. Mwah.
How many views?
Dude, I'm
This is the
just
first
gonna-
episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that part in just for you.
Yeah, please do. Thank you. Bro. Yeah, you were saying? I want to hear it. Oh, that there was the yeah.
You know, when-
What's still a number wise? I would say at least they would have a why didn't they have why didn't they have a common goal? I guess I just want to say because usually in a war, it's very easy
The
to
South.
rally after a common enemy,
The
right?
South.
Huh?
American Civil War.
Oh
the
yeah,
South.
yeah, exactly. Like in the U.S., there were people from the North who actually wanted different things, right? A lot of
It's the
them.
opposite. The South wanted different things. That's how they were easily separated.
No, even in the North, you
That's
have, you
like
have people who
Virginia.
were.
Virginia,
Yeah.
whenever they were being attacked, Texas was like, I don't care. It's not Texas.
Yeah.
So they never helped.
Actually,
Yeah.
interestingly,
But the thing is, the North is still I would say the North in terms of the sheer number was still more. I guess it would be more parallel to a situation where imagine the North having different opinions, but they could unite against a smaller group of people.
the difference
in a
was
thing.
that
Yeah.
the United States, when Lincoln took over,
Yeah.
before Lincoln took over, the United States, you can equate it to the European Union.
These United
That
States,
they-
yeah,
I
various
agree.
states, they cooperated, but they weren't one country.
Yeah.
When Lincoln came and the war started, he made the North into one country.
Yeah.
And they no borders were not an issue, nothing like that. The South, they made a confederacy and they maintained a similar thing. So whereas nowadays, if something was happening in say Italy, Germany won't necessarily do anything about it, right? They're part of the European Union, but they
Actually,
won't.
no. They're kind of forced to.
But
Because
if there's a
the-
wartime, it's a lot easier. If something's happening within Germany's border, they're gonna address it a lot faster
Yeah,
than
yeah.
something that would be happening in Poland or Italy or Spain or somewhere else.
Kind of like what's happening in Ukraine.
Ukraine's not part of the European Union.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
So they made a confederacy, which is essentially alliance. But they were already, each state, Louisiana was dealing with its own stuff, Alabama was dealing with its own stuff. So they weren't, soldiers all fighting on one team. They were soldiers fighting for each state.
which is
Yeah, I see what you mean.
which is easier to take down.
100%.
Yeah, man. People just make themselves so difficult.
That's one of the reasons. One of the reasons was a lack of communication, but one of the reasons the war in Texas still went on a little longer than even after Robert E. Lee surrendered. They still kept fighting
Oh,
in
yeah.
Texas for a little bit. So part of it was a lack of communication because they didn't know it was over. But some of the people still said, "Okay, let's just make Texas separate then."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should
even
Texas be its own country?
No, hell no.
I mean, they have their own.
I mean,
electricity. They have their own.
It
And you know how
could
bad-
happen. Honestly,
They even have their own navy.
all right,
Actually-
let me put something into perspective. Okay?
All right, let's put it in the perspective. and then
Everyday
let's talk
life. Okay.
about it. Yes.
You know how the government, we pay taxes and the government does some stuff for us. Okay?
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
Now look at all the stuff we have: roads, schools,
Mashallah.
you know, the water supply, all the codes that like everything is built. Is that done by the federal government or the state, the city, and the county?
Yeah,
State.
I think it's mostly the state too.
Plus, who helped us during the winter storm? Texas or the U.S.?
Yeah, Texas.
Bro, we didn't have anything in the store. Bro, that's why I said we should not be a separate country.
No, but the
Because
other
the US
states
still
didn't
can't
help us
help us.
anyway. Texas figured it out.
No. So,
Oklahoma sent
yeah,
some.
so
Oh, alright,
so
man, we can
so
make
so let me
comparisons
be.
with Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma
Exactly.
saved our
In the
bro,
first place,
bro.
anyway.
Okay, I agree. Okay, so I can see your perspective, but here's another thing, right? So, even though so even we can say from Texas we're getting the help, but we're forgetting a lot of what Texas gets in terms of revenue is because it's part of the U.S. Like a lot of our trade is done amongst the states. We don't do
we can
extra
Go back,
trade.
we can go back to Redbox. You know that was.
back in the old days. Yeah, no, Loki, I feel like I guess we can, but why should we? If we
Yeah.
already have such a
We
good
already-
deal.
So we don't have to
Because
pay
Texas
federal
has-
income taxes, bro.
Because-
No, bro, but like
No, wait,
I mean,
because-
we don't pay that much right now, do we?
No,
For
wait,
Texas,
we pay-
guys.
like
Because
what? Like
Texas
A
has
fifth of our income.
bro,
No,
wait,
but-
a fifth of our income, bro. I
Yeah,
don't.
in
Wait,
federal income taxes,
no,
yeah.
No.
a fifth of our, bro. That's
Alright,
way
bro.
too much, bro.
guys.
Bro, yeah.
Texas has its own navy, its own army.
Yeah. What's the army called? The Cowboys?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
they're
kidding.
called Texas Rangers.
Huh?
Rangers.
Yeah. Okay, by the way, I'm very pro Texas, but that's why I kind of want Texas to stay within the states.
Because we're
Because
just getting
also-
absorbed by Mexico again.
Yeah, well, no. So, yeah, I mean, bro, everyone's going to be competing for Texas regardless, even if we secede. It's not like the US would just let us go.
If your income is between 41,000 and 89,000,
Yeah.
you pay 22% income tax.
Really?
Yeah, really.
What? No
Wow.
way.
If your income is $10,000 or less, you pay 10%. $10,000,
You know,
bro.
10%.
Bro, that's like
you know what's
$6 an hour.
That's like below federal minimum wage. Do people even earn
Wait,
that?
do you know
Yeah, no, I'm-
what's
I'm-
interesting is the poor people, the gap between the poor and rich people now is worse than the gap between the poor and rich people back in the
French Revolution.
French Revolution.
Yeah,
Check
I
these tax
But the
brackets, bro.
only reason why people aren't revolting right now is because there's entertainment that keeps them like not.
This is just federal. Imagine if you live in California with state income taxes.
I mean,
Oh my
that's
God.
what they're doing.
Interesting. That no wonder a lot of people want us to secede because they don't want to pay that income tax. The thing is that I come at it from a more tech perspective, and the thing is Texas is slowly becoming kind of another
California.
Silicon Valley. Yeah, exactly. No,
Which
but
sucks.
no, which is so they're bringing in a lot of talent into the state, right?
It's
if-
a bad thing, dude.
Why is that a bad thing?
Because now our what's it called
Cost of living.
everything's gonna go up.
No, but like the thing
It's gonna
is,
be like living in New York.
no, but it's not here. It's in Austin.
No,
Right?
and here too.
No,
Look at
everything-
gas prices. It's $4.
No, but the gas
Texas
prices
has
is
cheaper
because no,
gas
it's a
prices
different.
in most places,
Yeah,
so.
and another thing is the gas price. The inflation in gas price is a very recent occurrence. Like, I think this is more to do with the current administration than it has to do with people moving.
Bro,
Pe-
thank God I have a Corolla. Premium gas was $4 a gallon at the place I went to. The other
Four,
day.
bro. I
$4.
use Corolla too.
Hey.
For me,
Well,
it's
no,
like
but the thing is,
with gift card, it's like 3.6.
Oh, bro, pay cash.
like
it's cheap.
320. Yeah, I do. Yeah, no,
320?
because with 320.
For
Yeah.
us, it's like 360.
Exactly. You go to the wrong gas
No, you go to the wrong one. Yeah. I
I'm
go to
talking
one
about,
that
like,
gives me a
regular.
discount if I get the gift card.
I'm talking about regular, not even premium.
Yeah. I'm talking about the regular. Yeah, 320.
Yeah,
Yeah,
320.
320.
330.
320.
You
Around
have to
320.
go to you know Gas Buddy?
Yeah.
Get an app. It's called Gas Buddy. It shows you like various gas stations in your area and their prices.
Oh, sure, for real? Yo,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
good one. Hold on, gas, buddy. Let me look this up.
That's our sponsor for today.
All right. Our podcast is sponsored by. Actually, no, it's not. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I don't want it to be like them flagging our this whole video just because they're like, we did not sponsor them. This guy just
You know what's
Bro, the reason
we
why-
never went off topic. We were always on
on topic, bro. 100%. It all links back to it, bro.
Exactly.
Secession, all this stuff. We're building up towards talking about Islamic history. Yes.
Hey.
Yes, of secession. Oh my God, bro. Talk about the fitness, bro. Okay, yeah.
You know, what's it called? You know,
Bro, Islamic history is such a touchy topic for
It
so
is.
many people.
It
bro.
You know,
Yeah.
Sunniism has a whole bunch of different schools. of
Sunniism,
thought,
bro, stuck for even Islam, bro. You can't say.
right? Okay,
You
you know,
can't.
Sun-
Allah said not to divide
Dude,
the bro.
dude,
Yeah.
okay, you know how Sunni has a whole bunch of schools of thought.
Oh yeah, Sunni schools of thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Shias also have them. and
Yeah, but they're-
strange.
No. So I would say so. I've talked to my Shia friends and they agree with me
You
on
have
this,
Shia
right?
friends?
Yeah, I have Shia friends. So that's why I said the Jafaris are very different from the Ismailis or different from the Zaidis, right? But most people would agree with the notion that the difference even within the different sects of Shia Islam is as different, if not more, than the difference between each of those individual sects with Sunni
Didn't you
Islam.
write this on the group chat?
Yes, I did. I did mention this. So it's interesting because if you look at the Zaidis, what they believe is fundamentally very different from the Ismailis.
The Zaydis
Which
are,
is-
I would argue the Zaydis are closer to Sunnis
Then they are to other Shia
Ismailis
groups,
and
correct?
exactly.
Yeah, that is the interesting thing. Is like I think a lot of the Shia Islam is built around the political idea because Shia the word Shia literally is is an abbreviation of the word Shiatun Ali.
Hmm.
Whereas for Sunni, it's actually also an
It's the
abbreviation for
Sunnah.
Sunnah, Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah.
Yeah.
Right? Which
What?
means
Uh,
Ahlul
People of
Sunnah
the
wal
Sunnah
Jama'ah. And the
It's-
majority.
Yeah.
So it means the people
Because of
who,
the hadith
yeah.
of the Prophet ﷺ where he said, hold on to the Jama'ah. It doesn't mean
Yeah,
majority.
yeah.
It doesn't mean the majority necessarily.
Okay, maybe not necessarily, but it means the
It means the
group.
people of the group of
The Jama'ah,
people.
yeah, the group.
The group of the upon the truth.
Upon
It
the
doesn't mean
Sunnah,
majority.
yeah. Okay.
Majority of people are kuffar.
I mean, yeah, no, but the group of the most of the Muslims. I guess, yeah, maybe, right? But the thing is, the Shiatun Ali is they're centered around the idea that Ali radiallahu anhu should have taken the Khalifa, right? Now he didn't, right? Until towards the end, but there were a lot of. That's where the first fitna came in. So I feel like even though Zaidi has a lot of beliefs that are similar, that could be similar to Sunni Islam, they would still align themselves with people who are Ithna Sharia or the Twelvers. Or even
That's
the
going on with
Ismailis.
The Houthis right now. That's why
Exactly,
they're fighting,
the Houthis, yeah.
alongside Iran instead of.
Yeah, even though they're Zaidis, yeah. But theologically, I would say the differences amongst Shia Muslims is very vast. Like, if you talk about differences even amongst Sunni Muslims, it's not even a difference, it's just differences in schools of opinion. Like,
Yeah,
whether or
yeah.
not you put your hand here or here.
Or,
Bro,
yeah.
sometimes I put my hand here during prayer, I put here. I don't really care, right? Like, cause
Actually,
you just-
actually, there are.
Okay,
some-
okay, let's
You
not.
can't, you can't
Yeah, you
mix-
can't just.
No, I don't just
Put it here.
do it here. Yeah, but I
No,
do.
I'm not talking about that.
But
I'm
no,
saying-
but
I'm-
everyone
wait.
agrees that you have to do it like somewhere here.
Yeah.
This
but
is something we
that's
can all
not what I
agree
was
with.
talking about. I'm just saying you can't mix different schools of thought.
No. I'm not saying
Because
I'm
you can't do
mixing.
this one day and then like
No.
next record you go.
No,
like
it's
this.
just because that itself. No. Because the thing is you just put your hand here. Like for me, I don't know. Like you have to put it in a certain position, a certain
Actually,
place, right?
That some scholars say that both are allowed because there are
Yeah.
a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ where he was grabbing his hand, like his
Yeah,
wrist,
yeah.
and he put it
And
here.
doing it here, and
there's
then some
hadith
people
where he
do
put
like
it on
him.
all three.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
hadith where he put it on his forearm. So
Yeah.
some scholars say that you're
It's
allowed
just the
to do
differences of
multiple.
opinion, which I feel like
Yes.
again, like it's not really that
Yeah,
big
so
of a
that's-
deal.
That there are
But I'm not
hadith where
talking
he did
about
that
like
as well.
those simple things. Like
Yeah.
you can do that, but I'm saying like
Yeah, so,
so for
Okay,
some
major akida wise, we have no difference. Like I'm pretty sure all of us here
I'm talking
agree.
about slightly different things. Like for some schools of thought, you can't pray whenever you have blood on you, and others it's totally fine. Because,
Yeah.
Like, there was
Yeah,
war.
but that is so minor. Like it's
well, it's not.
it's
if
not
your-
as
if
big
your
as
salah
saying-
is invalidated in Islam.
That's the
minor.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't, like, if you're, let's just say, I'm not sure, but like, let's just say one school of thought believes that, right?
Yeah.
That you lose your wudu whenever you have blood on you.
Yeah.
You can't just switch to like
Yeah.
another school of thought just because they can prep.
Go the
You can't
easiest,
do
like
that.
some schools of thought.
But how would
believe
you
that
how would you
vomit is
verify
najis.
how would you
Some people say
verify
vomit's
which
not
one
najis,
is
it's
true
just-
and which one isn't?
It's not. They have.
It's
legitimate
not for us
claims.
to do really.
Exactly.
But
So
the
how
thing is,
can
you
we
can't just
disagree?
switch.
Okay, we're
whatever
just
you
gonna
do.
wrap this up now.
Yeah.
One
And
thing.
we're
he
ju-
would- one thing.
Fine, last statement.
He asked me why.
No, look, we can go on.
No, let's
Wait,
go on.
you
Yeah.
alright? Yeah, we can start a new podcast if you want.
Yeah, let's
Wrap this
start
one
another
up.
Okay,
podcast.
I'm just gonna wrap this up.
When